Hi everyone, it's Sandy, and today I am filming my April book haul and my April wrap-up, but first I have a very exciting announcement to make. This year I will be attending BA and BookCon. I'm so happy because it's my first time attending and I'm going to meet so many amazing people, and I'm also rooming with Brandon from Brandon the Book Addict, so if you're not subscribed to his channel, go check it out because he's awesome. I can't wait to officially meet him in person along with all my other booktube friends. If you are attending BA or BookCon and you see me walking around, please come up and say hi. I'm not a scary person. I promise I won't bite. Doing that will just make me so happy and it will make my day, my week, my month, my year. So that is basically it for the announcement, and once BA and BookCon is over, I will get back to my regular filming and uploading schedule because college has been really crazy lately, so I just haven't had a lot of time to film and upload and read. We're done with the announcement and we're going to start with my April book haul. The reason why I'm combining my April book haul and my wrap-up is because I didn't really buy any books in April. I only bought one book, and that was because I wanted to save some money for BA and BookCon because I know I will be getting a lot of free books, but I would also want to buy some books as well. The only book that I bought in the month of April is Kindred Spirits by Rainbow Rowell. This was a short story that was published for World Book Day, and it was mainly released in the UK, I believe. This book was available on Book Depository for a little bit under $4, so I had to get myself a copy because it's Rainbow Rowell. I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely going to read it in the summer. Honestly, I have no idea what this short story is about, but I've heard that it has to do with Star Wars. In April, I read 5 books, which is pretty awesome considering the schedule that I had, but 2 of the books that I read were books that I read for class, so I'm just going to briefly talk about them now. The first book is Survival in Auschwitz by Primo Levi, and this is a book that I read for my history class, and as you can guess from the title, I'm sure you might have an idea what this book is about. This book was definitely very interesting because it gives a first-hand account as to what this author experienced while he was in Auschwitz, and you get to see all the things that people would do just for them to survive. So it's definitely a very emotional story. I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. The author does introduce a lot of terms that I'm not familiar with, so whenever those are mentioned, I did get lost at times, so that kind of took away from my rating of the story. The last book that I had to read for a class is The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. I read this for my theology class. I didn't really enjoy this book, to be honest. In this book, the narrator starts off in hell, and he and a bunch of other people that are in hell are boarding a bus to go to heaven. Through the narrator's eyes, you just get to see other people's experiences in heaven, and this book just kind of explores the whole heaven and hell aspect. The reason why I didn't enjoy this book is because there are a bunch of conversations within this book between a ghost and a spirit. The spirit are the people in heaven and the ghosts are the people that came from hell. I found those conversations just very confusing. I had no idea what they were talking about, and I just didn't know what was going on. I honestly don't enjoy a lot of the books that I have to read for school, so I'm not surprised that I didn't enjoy this one. So I ended up giving this a 1 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've mentioned this book a couple of times on my channel already, especially in my more previous videos, because I have been wanting to read this book for a while, and I finally picked it up and I finally finished it. This book follows a 17-year-old girl named Cassie, and she is basically a natural at reading people. One day she gets recruited by the FBI basically into their naturals program, and that program consists of several other teenagers that have some natural ability, such as being able to tell when someone is lying and being able to decode patterns. And all of these people in the naturals program basically help the FBI solve cold cases. This book definitely has a very interesting premise. Criminal Minds is one of my favorite shows, and I love the whole Criminal Minds feel to it. Since Cassie is a profiler, I loved being in her head and seeing her thought process as to every single person that she profiles. It's just so fascinating to read about. I love that it was very fast-paced and it was very suspenseful, so it keeps you turning the page and not wanting to put it down. Something that really caught my attention in this book is that when they're profiling people, they refer to people as you or I. So I'm going to read a quote that I just put down on my phone that's from this book. So there's a part that says, "I'm married, but I'd never get away with killing my own wife, so I kill hookers and pretend that they're her. My kid died, and now every time I see a kid in a baseball cap, I have to make him mine." Isn't that so creepy when they refer to serial killers as I or you? At first I thought it was so strange and I couldn't wrap my head around that, but then I remembered that in Criminal Minds they do that sometimes as well, and I was just like, oh wow, it just makes sense. Anyways, the main thing that I didn't like about this book is the romance. I felt like the romance was rushed and it felt unrealistic because of the whole love triangle. Yeah, that's right, there's a love triangle. Although I didn't like the romance, I'm glad that the book didn't focus on that as much. It was more focused on the plot. Overall, I think the ending was really great, but there were a few questionable things to me that just left me not completely satisfied, I guess. If you read this book, let me know because I would love to talk about it with someone. I ended up rating it a 3.75 out of 5 stars. The fourth book that I read this month is Too Late by Colleen Hoover. Yeah, that's right. Colleen Hoover has a new book, and the cool thing about this book is that it's free on Wattpad. I will leave a link to the book in the description box below if you want to check it out because it's completely free. Free Colleen Hoover book? Yes, please. So I knew I had to pick this book up because Colleen Hoover is one of my favorite authors. I'm not going to go into too much details as to what this book is about, but I do want to give a trigger warning for sexual assault. This book is very different from Colleen Hoover's other books. It's more graphic and violent, and it's definitely for a more mature audience, so I just wanted to put that out there. Sloane is one of the main characters, and the position she is in was just very heartbreaking to read about. I hated seeing her go through all of that, but I understand why she was doing it. This book is actually told in 3 point of views, but the main love interest in this book is honestly one of my favorite male characters in Colleen Hoover's books. He's so sweet and I loved his interactions with Sloane. And the third perspective is a character that I'm not going to name, but you'll know who that character is the second you pick up the book. But I hated this character. I don't think I have ever had so much hate for a character as I had for this character. So I just don't like him. While I love Colleen Hoover's books, I am aware that there are some repetitive aspects in her books, such as characters having a tragic backstory. And honestly, I am getting a bit tired of that. I still love Colleen Hoover, I still love her writing, but I'm just kind of tired of reading about that kind of story. There is another thing that I didn't completely love in this book either, and it is a spoiler, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but if you're interested in knowing, let me know and I will tell you. So overall, this book is like in the middle of a 4 to a 4.5, so I guess it's a 4.25. The last book that I read in April is Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This is a historical fiction book that takes place during World War II, and it follows 4 different characters, and I love that these characters all have such different backgrounds. I don't read a lot of historical fiction books, and most of the ones that I have read I just don't really like. I think this is a book that everyone should read. It was an emotional and heartbreaking story. All of the chapters are very short, and I actually listened to this book as an audiobook, and I wish I hadn't. Even though I did enjoy this book, I would have most likely enjoyed it a lot more if I read it for myself. The writing was beautiful, and I loved how each of the characters' story arc intertwined with one another. For some reason, I went into this book thinking that the plot would be one thing, but it wasn't, and I was pleasantly surprised. I don't want to go into too much details about that because it is spoilers, but again, if you want to know more, just let me know and I will tell you. And by the time you're finished with the story, it will just resonate with you. Overall, I would rate this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I finished filming this video, I changed into a different outfit so I can film another video, and then I remembered that I forgot to mention the novellas that I read in April. Good job, Sandy. Anyways, I read 3 novellas in April, and they are 3 novellas from Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, and they are The Whitechapel Fiend, Nothing But Shadows, and The Evil We Love. I am really enjoying these novellas, and I can't wait to continue on with the rest of them. Those are all of the books that I read in April. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, let me know if you're going to BA or BookCon, and if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!